welcome into a very special Florida Panther
Where are we at? It's
edition
cold
of
in
Game
here.
Change. I couldn't
Can
even
you
get
turn
through
up
the
the heat?
intro again. Couldn't even get through the intro again. We got a special guest, head coach Paul Maurice joining us. Paul, this is your intro to Kim Camper. He likes to
he wore a golf shirt to a hockey rink.
I mean,
We
got some work to do.
He's not feeling it. And of course,
You're Fort Lauderdale.
everyone knows Steve Goldstein. Goldie, you want to
Yes.
thank him for that thing on your hand right
First
there?
time on the
Oh,
show that
very
we've been
nice.
in. So thank you, Coach.
Well,
Appreciate that.
I'd say you're welcome, but we're all part of that one.
A lot of
isn't it?
rocks
That's
on
the,
that
That's
thing,
the
man.
nice part about that. That's the special part, is it connects everybody, right? So all the people that have been here, and Steve's been here forever, a lot longer than I have. It just means so much. So I get this kind of great feeling. I look over and Steve's got his ring on, and it's, you don't have to thank me. It's just something we share together right forever now. And that's the beautiful part of this, and the people of South Florida. The number of people that I've run into that said, I've been a fan for 30 years, you know, and it's true. They're right from the start. And I was coaching other teams when we came down to Old Miami Arena. It was there. And then there's a few nights there weren't a lot of people in the building here.
Listen, I was one of those few kids back in '96, about that tall.
So they have this lifetime experience with the Florida Panthers. It's become their team. And then you get to share that with them, too. So it was a special, special moment. I get a little smile every time I see one of those rings.
Well, everyone around South Florida gets a smile when they see you. It's also a special moment for you this week. You're going to coach your 1900th career NHL game.
Yeah.
How does that feel? I mean, the longevity, the history of it.
I'm not
Congrats.
joking around. Old. It makes me feel old.
You get a couple wins out of the California Golden Seals?
No, but not far. No, the white skates, that's a little longer than me. But you start to realize you've been at this for a little while. It's a big number. Lots of great people that you would meet. And I think of what I put my poor wife through for 1900 grumpy morning skate days and all the wins and losses. It's a big number. I don't know that, you got to find the right word. It's not a sense of pride, because I'd like to coach a bunch more.
Yeah.
But it is a sense of connection that you start to think about the number of people that you've worked with over that period of time. It's 95 was my first year, so that's a lot of people that you don't get 1900 without all of them. Dmitry Kulikov's doing his 1000th game as a defenseman. That's way more important, way harder to do as a grinding defenseman, blocking shots. But you think of the number of players that you've had that did 1,000 games, and then all the people that you don't get to 1900 without being lucky, being around really good people.
Yeah. Watching the season as it's gone on, as every team does, they have, of course, their ups and downs as the year goes on. How hard is it to fight maybe the regular season fatigue when you've made a number of deep runs in the playoffs, and your main goal is now always getting through the playoffs and back to the Stanley Cup?
Right. That's a great question, and it's something that we've been talking about for 5 or 6 months. Mm-hmm. How much of this is just the normal fatigue of an NHL year? How much of it is our team is different? Like, we had to build. Last year, we lost like 9 of 13 games in March. You got to build this thing every single year, but then you win the Stanley Cup and you think, well, maybe this should be slightly easier. It's just not. And then we have this unusual run of back-to-back games, which is hard in our sport. We're going to play 10 back-to-backs in our last 40 games. So almost half our schedule is front half or back half of back-to-back. Could be a great thing for us. Certainly takes the ego out of you. It doesn't let you feel too good about yourself. So those are the things that we're talking about every day. What's the real fatigue? We measure a whole lot of physiological things, how they feel mentally, how their bodies feel. We think we know we're fit, and we think our bodies feel pretty good. It's just handling that grind's been the challenge.
Coach, we're in this facility out here. It's absolutely beautiful facility for you guys here. All you guys that live around town, got golf carts and scooters to practice. Well, where do you come in?
I walk.
You walk?
Honest to God.
Do you really?
We got into this place in December the year prior and won our next 9 games because you walked in and went, oh my God, I want to be a part of this. Yeah. So we have about 13 or 14 people that live within 5 miles of here, 5 minutes of here. I live a block and a half from here. I walk every morning and walk home. This is just rejuvenating. We can go out that back door and there's a great big park and we can stretch and the guys can do their outdoor stuff. It's so close that we can get these guys to come in on their off days and do recovery, rehab, saunas, cold tubs. We've got all that kind of stuff here. And then for the community too. So we've got fans that come and watch us practice. Most of our practices are open. I have no problem with fans coming down and checking it out. They can check our website. Adeline puts on when they're open or not. So great for the community. And that's so we got a little bit of an unusual market here, right? You got all these guys. There's not a lot of players that were born and raised in Fort Lauderdale that made their way to the NHL. We got a little city kind of hockey going on here. The youth programs are starting to take off, and that's usually a tell. An NHL team's been there for a while. Eventually, we're going to start producing more hockey players. But for just the mood, man. You walk outside today, it's about as good as it gets, right? So we're a little bit fatigued. We've been on the road forever. We're pretty happy.
That's why he's in the polo.
There you go.
You got the guys up north, they're all bundled up. These guys are walking out with flip-flops and shorts.
And it matters. It does. That vitamin D boost you get, that recovery that you get, we have. And thanks to our owner for building it, because this place certainly wasn't cheap. Then it's a gift to the community as well. But for the coach, it's a great thing.
Paul Maurice has become a huge football fan.
Yeah.
Now that you're an expert, you could be like, Tom Brady, Tony Romo on TV. Do you have a Super Bowl selection for us here?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
So we'll do this. So I've had like how much time we got? 2 minutes?
I got
whatever your boss says.
I got about 2 or 3 football experiences. One I went to see, and I believe it was the Oakland Raiders play the Detroit Lions, and Bo Jackson was playing.
Oh, wow.
And he broke loose from the end zone, and he was running down the field. He's got a touchdown. And I'm laughing because I've never seen a man run that fast in my life. And then somebody comes out of like the side toward him, and he went faster. I've never seen, like, the athleticism on these football players is incredible. So I don't know anything about football. My kid goes to Notre Dame, does his undergrad there. And he gets on as an intern for the Orange Bowl committee. So I go to the Orange Bowl game cheering for Notre Dame. What an amazing experience. Like, you talk about the challenge of getting the energy back. I'm there before the game. The teams come out. They do the national anthem. The place is buzzing. Yeah. And I get that juice back. You know that feeling like behind the bench, kind of the playoff vibe. And I'm going, oh, God, thank God, it's still there. It's still there. It's not even my sport. But it turned me into an expert. And now I get these fans. I'm yelling at the refs. I'm yelling at the quarterback. I'm yelling. Seriously.
You know all the rules now.
And I go to a sporting event and I just sit there and watch. It's kind of nice. It's not hockey. I'm into it and wired, and I don't know any of the rules. But that's the spectacle of sports. So now I'm watching sports, and I have no idea who's going to win because I don't know anything about it. But it's the spectacle of sport.
I want to go back to Bo Jackson. What could you have done with Bo Jackson in a pair of skates?
Well, I'll tell you what. What I'm thinking about is, as he's running, this is like it was yesterday. If he hit me, he'd kill me. The man was that big, going that fast. If he hit me right here, I would die.
I think a lot of people probably thought that who played against him.
It was an awesome display of elite athleticism.
Yeah, that guy was such an athlete. I bet he could have got on the ice and played. He could do everything. Baseball,
I think
football,
most
everything.
of these men could train in any sport. They are gifted,
I agree with that.
And they do have that mental capacity to stay on task, to train 3 hours a day, 4 hours, to do repetitive things. They have that capacity. Most of these elite athletes could transfer sport. Size is a difference in ours. We don't have most of them are pretty compact, like heavy set tennis players maybe. But clearly elite in what they do.
Well, I'll wrap up with this. Bo played for the Dolphins, of course. If you ever want to feel like what it's like to get hit by a professional football player, we can set it up.
That hard anymore.
Do you?
I hit like a 70-year-old football player right now. That's how I hit.
It would still be technically good and enough to hurt.
Yeah.
Of course. We're not going to find out.
We don't need to do that.
I avoid him in the hallways.
There you
go.
All
right. Coach Paul Maurice, congrats on all the success here and in your career. We really appreciate you coming on the show.
My pleasure.
I was hoping there was players out here so you could yell at them from up top today. Get back to work.
That's not till tonight.
Not till tonight.
Put someone in a referee shirt out there.
I thought I saw some steely eyes down there during the practice. Practice
you're
session.
just trying to feel it.
A little gritty down there.
Every morning skate's different. 1,900 games, and you're just trying to get out there and feel your team. What are they going to need tonight? Move around, touch a couple guys, and they're all different. So that's all I do in the morning skates is what do they need from me tonight, and then kind of feel it. So we'll see if I get it right.
Well, if you yell at the refs, you've had 1,900 games worth of practice, and we look forward to how that's going to look. Coach,
my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Much more to come here on Game Changers. Thanks to Coach Paul Maurice and the Panthers for joining us here today. Welcome back into Game Changers. A lot of fun talking about Paul Maurice. We got to talk about a guy who was nearly a champion here in South Florida. Jimmy Butler.
Again?
The era's officially over. Yes.
He's back?
Yeah,
This is the weekly Jimmy Butler conversation.
Yeah.
Well, here's what we got.
Well, he was back, then he's not back.
And then he's suspended again, and he's losing a lot of money in suspension.
I think he's been suspended 1,900 games.
That's right.
Jimmy Butler.
That's right. He's in the
So
race
as
with
much
Paul
as Paul
Maurice.
Maurice. There you go. It's a battle.
but I do want to put a bow on the Jimmy Butler era.
No pun intended, or pun intended.
I'll put a bow on him. Get him the hell out of here.
Well, but how will so you sound a little angry? How would you summarize his Miami Heat era here? Because he did do a lot with the franchise.
Yeah, I think he did a lot, but he ruined it in the last couple of years. I think his legacy here will be all about this crap that he's doing now and the way he's gone out of this team, like he's done every other team that he's been on. I think that's what people are going to think about most about Jimmy. And it's a shame because he's one of those players. He stays around. He could have his jersey up in the rafters.
He would have.
No
100%.
doubt.
No
that
chance
they'll put it in the toilet, but they ain't going to put it up in the rafters.
Yeah, he would have had the jersey in the rafters.
Yeah.
He would have had a great opportunity if he chose to stay around, work for Pat Riley, work with Eric Spoelstra, work with the team as a guy that came in and was part of that Heat culture and brought him to championship rounds. But unfortunately, I agree with you, Bo, all of that is pretty much finished, not just because eventually he's going to leave, but just the way it's going down. I mean, say what you want, is my opinion. I know Shaquille O'Neal has spoken about this, and he disagrees. He's on Jimmy's side. You do not walk out on the guy to your right and the guy to your left in a practice. You don't do it. You don't leave your teammates, the guys you're supposed to go to war with, on a game day. And that's just the latest example.
You don't leave them on a tarmac, on an airplane,
that too.
waiting, and you don't show up. That's you can do stuff to coaches, you can do stuff, but you can't do that to your teammates.
And by the way, give those teammates a ton of Tyler Hero. I mean, now there's a guy, you look at the difference. Pat Riley last offseason after the season, not very happy. Jimmy needs to play more. Jimmy Butler, if you're not playing, shut up, don't say anything. Tyler Hero is, quote, fragile. Tyler Hero doesn't go to his agent and say, get me out of here, and complain. Tyler Hero gets in the gym, works harder. This guy's having an all-star type year. And to be able to decompartmentalize everything going on with Jimmy Butler and for him to have the year he's having, that's kind of the silver lining in this. You're seeing Tyler Hero really emerge.
And on that note, too, Bam Adebayo talked about it. He told his teammates, with everything that's going on, just come to work and be professional. And you've seen that. And I think you've seen the growth with Kel'el Ware and Niko Jovic, all these guys. They're fun to watch. There'll be some bumps and bruises.
That's easy to say, but it's still a distraction. Every second that you take off and you talk about him, it's a distraction for a team.
No doubt.
Because when they're together, you can't help not talking about it. Sure. And so it becomes part of what you're doing during the season. It's not fair to have your teammates have to deal with that while you're out there going and playing tennis or whatever he's doing.
He was watching tennis.
Paddleball, right?
Paddleball.
Padel.
That to me was one of the worst looks of the entire thing.
Yeah,
that your team is playing a game.
Yeah.
And you are down here in South Florida.
So what do? Do they suspend him for the rest of the year?
Suspend him
where's this go?
Till the trade deadline. Until they we're not going to see him again in the Heat.
No, it's ironic because the money and the contract is so important to Jimmy Butler, yet he continues to act in certain ways where he's costing himself $360,000 a day because that's what he makes to play in these games. If you really want the money and it's about the money, then don't walk out of practice. Just play, even if you're a part-time player, a bench player, and at least get your money. The whole thing is weird.
A little disappointed with Shaq in coming out and supporting him with this.
Not surprising at all because he traded him away
he did the same thing.
Right.
Well, Shaquille O'Neal's feeling is if you don't want me long-term, then why should I give my all to you and I can get hurt? My answer would be because the date on the contract is still valid. Yeah. That's the reason why you have to do it.
Everyone forgets that there is still a contract and both sides have to live up to what's
Let me tell you, Charles Barkley was not happy with Shaquille O'Neal. They were going at it. Like, it wasn't just, joking around. Barkley's like, no way, man. It was pretty interesting to think that a guy like Shaquille O'Neal would agree with what Jimmy Butler's doing.
The way Shaq ended here, I'm kind of not surprised. Even though they retired his jersey, doesn't
Yeah, it's a
really
little stain.
Little
stain on that jersey hanging up there.
Really, go ahead. Go ahead. Bring it down. Bring it down a little. Bring it down.
Bo's not messing around today.
All right.
Man, you get paid, you got to work. Man.
That's right.
What a novel idea.
There you go.
Who would have thought?
Very simple.
Still to come, we're going to make sure these guys stay working. That way they can get paid for today's episode.
We showed up. We were going to get paid.
That's
Once
right.
we're here.
Once you're here. Once the camera lights go on, that's it.
Yeah,
You give me $50, I'll be there.
Checks. Yeah, I know.
Tell Leo you're down to $50 a show. That's
Uncle Lee, wow, taking a huge pay cut there. Still to come, do we have Chiefs fatigue? We're getting ready for the Super Bowl. We got the Eagles, we got the Chiefs. We'll get their thoughts on that next. Welcome back to Game Changers. Yes, we're in an ice arena at the moment, getting ready for our Panthers game. Thanks against the Paul Maurice for.
It's cold in here, man.
It's freezing. I know. That's
You're
why
cold?
You do that all the time.
I usually wear a jacket.
Shirt, you know?
I put a jacket on.
And then you want a tie, too, because you always look good in a tie.
Well, thank you.
He texted me last night, hey, what should I wear? I don't know. You come here every day.
Well, I didn't
Don't
know
ask
if he wanted me to look nice or, I didn't know. So.
You always look good.
Yeah, you always
Well, I brought this for the first time on
look,
Game
You
Changers.
don't always look nice, but you look presentable. Let's put it that way.
Hold that up, because speaking of championship rings,
that
the
up.
Look at that
Super
thing.
Bowl ring is on the line in a couple of weeks. And we've got the Chiefs
That's amazing.
and we've got the Eagles. The Chiefs obviously going for the first ever three-peat. We'll get to that in a minute. But Goldie, are you tired of watching the Chiefs in the Super? Does it ever get old seeing them there?
It does not get old because, I go back, right, as a sports fan to the 1980s with guys like Joe Montana. It did not get old. Unfortunately, they beat the Dolphins that Super Bowl. And then you go into the Magic and Bird in the NBA. You go to Michael Jordan in the NBA. You go to Tom Brady. It does not get old because you want that top line to be set by a team. And what Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are doing, it's just incredible. I mean, these guys basically go to the Super Bowl every single year. So, no, I am not tired of it. And now I'm kind of into Mahomes trying to, maybe catch Tom Brady. He's halfway there, basically, to catching him, and he's 29 years old. I want to see if he can do it.
Look at Andy Reid. Andy Reid is the architect of this team, and he was kind of cast off a while back.
Couldn't win the big one.
Look what he's done.
Eagles, right.
And so, look, I go back. You talked about the NBA. Going back to, remember when it was the Lakers? Lakers had to get past the Pistons. Pistons had to get past
the bad boys,
the
right?
Celtics. And you had to learn how to win to get a championship. And Kansas City's giving everyone a hard lesson that if you want to learn to win, you better do it. But I think Philadelphia, to me, Philadelphia in this game, physical football team, big offensive line.
Don't do it.
I think they've got a good opportunity.
Don't do it.
I think they've got a good opportunity. But having said that, having said that, every team in this league, if they had Pat Mahomes, would be a Super Bowl
100%.
contender. And until he drops off that pedestal, you can't vote. You can't bet against him.
You mentioned Pat Mahomes trying to catch Tom Brady. It's crazy. Yes, he's still got a ways to go in the Super Bowl department, but how about the playoff wins? Mahomes moved into second place in terms of quarterback playoff wins, and he's still halfway to Brady in terms of those numbers.
He's halfway in Super Bowl appearances, and he goes every year. But
it's
he's
insane.
29.
I know.
I mean, if he wants to,
right?
He's got a lot going on. He's got a lot of money. He and his wife, they own the soccer team there in Kansas. He's got a piece of the Kansas City Royals. But if he wants to, could he make the Super Bowl 5 more times up till age 37, 38? Yeah. I think there's a chance.
For everyone out there who's saying they have Chiefs fatigue and they don't want to see this, y'all said the same thing about Alabama football for the last 10, 15 years. And guess what? I don't remember college football numbers ever going down in a national title.
I miss out.
Alabama.
I like the team that half the people love because they're good, whether they're die-hard or bandwagon, and then half the people hate because you're tired of it. So I think it's a great thing that Kansas City's doing.
Not only that, they're an entertaining football team.
They're fun to watch.
I mean, Mahomes, the way he plays. You got Kelsey. They've got characters on that football team.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift's always hanging around, singing.
I think that's a big factor.
Singing and dancing. She doesn't dance very well, but she sings pretty well.
Wow.
I think she moves fine.
I don't want to see the Swifties come after you,
I think
Bo.
she moves fine.
You think so?
I mean, I'm not going to say dancing's not her forte.
Look, I'm not a
You're not a
dance
dancer
guy, but I've heard. So don't put it on me. I've heard.
No, she's not a
Bo's
great
gonna
dancer.
dance right here in the next block. How about that?
But I think it's great having her around. I think it's very.
It's good for
Did
business.
you see the video when she met Bobby Bell? They were walking off the field, and Travis Kelce, the legendary Chief player, and hey, meet. And she goes, "Hi, I'm Taylor."
The legend Bobby Bell?
Yeah.
Did he give her a...
He did not. He's a
He
little
didn't
older
give
now.
her well, okay.
He's a little older.
Who's Bobby Bell?
Oh, come on,
Hall of Famer.
wake up here.
There's the
My
thing.
goodness.
After they won the
Man.
championship game, Kelsey and Taylor are walking off the
Man.
field. He's got his arm around
Yeah.
her, and Bobby
You
Bell.
don't even remember who Joe Montana is.
Exactly.
Joe Montana?
You know who Dwight Clark? You ever hear of Dwight Clark? And Travis goes, "Hey, Bobby, come here." And Taylor Swift goes, "Hi, I'm Taylor."
Yeah.
I thought it was just
That
a
was
very
good,
cool
yeah.
moment, like entertainment meeting sports. I like that
Goldie's
stuff.
He's a
so
softie.
I'm a
so
Swiftie.
wholesome.
Softie.
He's
I-
so wholesome.
I
Yeah.
like
By the
Taylor
way,
Swift.
where's your Swift bands?
I didn't have them.
You didn't have them.
No, he wanted me. I
You
figured
got to accessorize with the ring.
I got too many accessories, man.
do.
I need some assistance.
It's a very
with them.
fashionable
Yeah,
Steve
Goldie
Goldstein.
Swiftie. How about that?
All right, still to come here on Game Changers. Someone here locally in South Florida
embarrassed me.
stands to benefit financially if the Chiefs go on to
Probably
win
Kim
a
Bokamp
three-peat.
benefit
Well,
financially.
Oh.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, but no, but
Whatever
no.
it's related
yeah,
to.
Yeah. We'll find out. We'll talk about that next. Let's wrap things up here on Game Changers. We were just talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going for the three-peat. We were also talking about Pat Riley a couple segments ago. Pat Riley, of course, has the term three-peat trademark.
Ooh.
So should the Chiefs win, decide to use that trademark,
Ooh.
Pat Riley's going to make a little cash. How about the foresight, Bo, on The
No,
Godfather
no. So-
to cash in on other people's
But
success?
so how does he build? Does he just send him a bill?
Oh, I'm sure
Yeah,
he does.
you use it. Yeah.
There's a
Well,
nice
to change-
Miami Heat letterhead
After he
in
won,
your way.
after he won the 3 in a row with the Lakers,
Yeah.
he came up with the
He'll
trademark.
hire
and-
someone to listen to everything that they say every time three-peat. It's like
Every shirt
it's
sold.
like playing a song, right?
Well, you know it's not illegal unless you get caught. But yeah,
Oh,
if the
yeah,
Chiefs do it,
yeah.
someone will know about it.
Well, we can sit here and say three-peat, and give him a few bucks ourselves.
Jimmy Butler's giving him enough money back. You don't need to give him any money back.
Uncle Leo's going to take care
Leo
of that
paid
one.
for it.
Yeah.
Leo's
Uncle
making
Leo's
the big
gonna what?
bucks.
He's gonna take care of
gonna what?
the three-peat.
Yeah, no, he's not
gonna
taking
take
care of anything. No.
You don't think so?
I'm not betting on that.
No?
No, a three-peat for Leo is just coming in 3 days a week.
Oh my.
It's always easy when the guy's not here.
He's
I mean,
not
that's great.
Look,
here.
I'm just getting into the mood of the things. You know?
Yeah, I could tell. By the way, I'm so glad when we had Paul Maurice here. You stayed true to form. Didn't even let me get his name out before you jumped in and just took over. So kudos to you.
You can't teach old dogs new tricks.
No,
man.
hey, listen. I was trying to get him and you to square up. I wanted to see what would have happened.
Yeah. I was asking him if you could get the Hanson brothers on this team. Maybe get something going.
The Hanson brothers.
See, look at that.
What
Look at
are you
that.
talking
Slapshot.
Oh, Slapshot.
Famous
Oglethorpe.
movie,
You know,
no?
I'm
Oglethorpe?
thinking
Yeah.
Hanson, the
Hoagie
boy band,
Oglethorpe.
the boy band that you guys brought up when we were in Tampa doing the show, talking about what music's on your playlist, and I got to hear Bop from one of you guys.
Oh
That's
my
me. That
gosh,
was me.
that was
That was
him.
him.
That was
See,
me.
and he's blaming me for liking
So when
Taylor
you,
Swift.
When you
Look,
say
I
the
just-
Hanson brothers, that's where I go with
Hanson
you.
brothers are about 45 years old now, I think.
They are, man. They still do
Right.
some appearances and stuff. Those guys were famous from that movie. Yeah,
They do the county fairs and stuff.
They
right
do.
now.
They do.
They're on that circuit.
Let's wrap it up. I do want to swing back to Paul Maurice. What's it been like getting to see this guy work every single day?
Dude, it's unbelievable. First of all, you heard him.
Yeah.
He's like that. The access to him is doing the games, talk to him, every day. Incredible insight, humble.
Yeah.
Last year during the Cup run, he's making all the comments. Hey, I'm just standing there behind the bench. They're doing everything. It's incredible to have that kind of staying power. He's second in games coached.
Yep.
He's coached the second most seasons ever, 27 years, and he's a couple wins away from 900 wins.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, if you think about, we talk
Yeah.
about this bus chops on the show,
Yeah.
right? A lot about time. How the world has changed
Yeah.
since he came in the mid-'90s. He was in his late 20s when he got hired to coach the Hartford Whalers. The franchise moves to Carolina. Yeah. He's been hired. He's been fired. He's come back and forth. It's pretty amazing to have that kind of staying power and be able to get through to the athletes today that are just so different than they were 20, 30
And
years
you
ago.
listen to him, it doesn't sound like he's looking at the end of the road
He's
right
not.
now.
I'm glad you brought that
Right?
up because he goes, I want to coach a lot more.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe another 1900. Maybe he's got another
There you
30
go.
years.
When you can walk to work, it's a good deal, too.
Yeah.
you
Not
know?
bad. What do you say? That vitamin D.
That vitamin D.
That
That's a
vitamin
real
D.
thing.
We are going to get out of here and get some vitamin D because
There you
it's
go.
cold and Bo's freezing. Look at him. He's shivering over here. Thanks for watching us here on Game Changers. This was a fun episode. We'll see you next week.